Hey everyone, Hobby Scrapper here. So everyone's been wanting to see this water sluice or my copper separator. This is what I use to separate the granulated copper wire. As you can see, it's a pretty simple setup. It's just you got the water flows up to the top through the gutters, then into the totes, all the way down. The last tote's got a screen in it, and it catches all the insulation. Then most of the copper ends up in the top. The heavier stuff, the thin stuff or really small stuff, ends up in these other totes. Hopefully the water is clear enough you can see. There you can see some of the copper laying down in here along the edges of the insulation. Some copper laying down in there. But like I said, the majority of the copper gets caught up here. I'll put the grindings in here, or the granulated copper wire in here, and it'll flow down through, and most of it will stop in there. Some of it does make it down into the bins, like I said, but usually not too much of it makes it down into here. All right, as you can see, this is some of our granulated copper. So we just take a handful and just sprinkle it in here. Like I said, most of the copper will collect up top there. This is not what I would call a finished design. This is actually the first kind of trial, but it works well enough for me to get the copper out of it like I want. And that's my main goal. As you can see, it's pushing a lot of the insulation down. You got some stuff like this that is just stuff that didn't granulate very good. And it'll come down in here. A lot collects in here. That's what the sump pump is for. I'll turn that on, point the hose in here to help flush some of that down. And as you can see, it'll start to build up here a lot. When it builds up too much, what I'll have to do is I'll have to shut the water off, and I'll just take this cute little shovel and I'll scrape it out, throw it in a 5-gallon bucket, and then I'll continue running. So you can see some of it. Sometimes you gotta get in here and mix some of it around to get it to flow down. Like I said, this is still kind of a prototype, still working on things. But yeah, it works. So that's the main thing. So you can see it's collecting the copper down there. Just flows and flows. And it flows right into here. And then once this fills up too much, I just grab it by the handful and throw it in the trash. And as you can see, I got magnets in here. The magnets help with any metal that might be in there. And you can see some of the insulation does get caught in it, which isn't a big deal. That little bit will burn off in the forge, so it's not a huge deal. I'll probably just leave that in there so that way it'll clean that out. We got a huge buildup up there, so we got to get into that and get it cleaned out. Like I said, this design is not perfect, but it works for me, which is the main thing. All right, so there, we got that clean out done. I'll plug it back in and we'll start running some more. So you can see how fast that filled back up with copper. So as you can see, it's starting to build up right in here. I haven't quite solved that problem, other than I know I need more water flow. So I just kind of churn it up a little bit, and I'll turn the sump pump on. And that'll help push it down into the next one and down into the next one. And most of the copper will still stay in the bin, just because it's heavy enough. I do lose some of the real light copper, but that's okay. It's a very little amount that I lose, so I'm all right with that. So that's pretty much the gist of it. It's a pretty simple setup. It's ready to be cleaned out again. Filled up with copper that fast. With all this. It's very little, if any, copper in it.